Hello everyone. Our mission on the Broken Isles is to get our hands on the Pillars of Creation to seal the rift at the tomb of Sargeras. Malfurion Stormrage has gone on ahead to Val'sharah, where the tears of Elune can be found. We'll have to ask his mentor, the wild god Cenarius, where they're safeguarding the tears, but as we go into the zone, we find out that not everything is as dreamy as it seems.
Val'sharah. Every step in this forest brings back precious memories. Ages ago, the first druids molded this land to be a reflection of the Emerald Dream. Merely an echo, but Val'sharah is as close to the dream as this world can come. Make ready, hero. We shall soon stand in the presence of the Lord of the Forest. Follow me.
Malfurion, thank Elune you've come.
It is good to see you again.
You must come quickly. Something's happened. He was in the dream, but now he won't wake. We cannot stir him.
What is this corruption?
We don't know. It only just appeared.
A curse with the strength to paralyze a wild god has taken hold of Cenarius. We must gather the Archdruids of the forest, since with their help we'll be able to summon Ysera. She will surely know what horror has taken over Malfurion's mentor, so we ride out to discover the locations of the Archdruids, and then we gather them. Now a little background for those unfamiliar with the Emerald Dream. The Emerald Dream is an ethereal realm of spirits and untamed nature that exists alongside the world of Azeroth. It looks the way that Azeroth would look without mortal influences, and once upon a time, tied to Keeper Freya, she went about bringing life to the planet. In order to do this, she crafted or tapped into the realm known as the Emerald Dream. The Chronicles describes both options, so it's uncertain which one it is, but in this realm, spirits and strange otherworldly beings could be found. With that realm created, or that link established, Freya wandered the world searching for locations where the Well of Eternity's energies had come together. She had found that these locations created the perfect conditions to develop new flora and fauna. She experimented and molded life of astounding diversity, and she seeded it all around the world. During her travels, Freya also encountered the demigods, or the wild gods as they're now called, and together they wandered the land, forest and grasslands blooming in their footsteps. Yet there was one place she and the wild gods visited more than any other, the massive forested peak of Mount Hyjal. It was on the slopes of Mount Hyjal where Freya bound the spirits of her beloved wild gods to the Emerald Dream. Some of you also asked, how is it possible that we see Cenarius now? This is the reason. During Warcraft 3, the orcs did battle with Cenarius and they defeated him, but instead of killing him, they sent him back to the Emerald Dream. During the events of the Cataclysm, we teamed up with Jared Shadowsong and we brought back some of the demigods or the wild gods, amongst them Cenarius, so we are the ones who brought him back to the world of Azeroth, and now we see him here in Val'sharah. So here we are in Val'sharah, an echo of the Emerald Dream formed by the Druids. We ride out to find Elune, our Druid of Lore, who shall depart as soon as he's able. He is dealing with a bit of trouble of his own, since a vile harpy coven, they've emerged and they seek to claim his grove as their own. We're asked to rescue the Druid Menor, Loreleaf, Erwin Misfen and Delphinar Sagewood, while also taking care of Pakulia, the leader of the harpies who are threatening the grove.
Fools! This forest will soon die, and you with it!
The title of Archdruid is the highest rank that a druid can hold, and there are not many that can say that they accomplished that level. At least, before the expansion Legion, that was the case. Malfurion Stormrage naturally is one of such Archdruids. He was the first of his kind to be taught the ways of druidism by the wild god Cenarius himself, and he in turn trained other of his kind in the ways of druidism. His talent and power played a key part in the War of the Ancients, and although his twin brother Illidan tried to join him on this path, druidism was simply not meant for him. He had a bigger connection with magic, so much so that when the Well of Eternity imploded, the land of Kalimdor split apart, he decided to make a new well with waters that he had collected from the original well. The other Night Elves, as you might imagine, were not pleased with this, but the Dragon Aspects had a solution. They would plant a world tree over the well to contain its powers and prevent them from growing, while they also placed several blessings upon the tree. One of these blessings was granted by Ysera, the green Dragon Aspects, which bound all Night Elf druids to the Emerald Dream. Prior to this, Malfurion and those that followed him, they had wandered Ysera's realm, but doing so required difficult meditation. The new enchantment placed on Nordrassil, it made it easier. It would allow these druids to journey into the dream whenever they so wished.
Thank you, traveler. All is not yet lost.
With Elofeyr's task done, we ride out to find Koda's Steelclaw, Archdruid of the Claw, within the Sleeper's Barrow, but the local Furbolg, they've gone into a frenzied rage, and they cut off our access into the Barrow dens, where the Archdruid and the clan are sleeping while walking the Emerald Dream. We'll have to take care of the Furbolg problem before we can move on, and Elder Zook, he wants us to rescue his nephew Littlefur, and Littlefur in turn tells us that he has heard the others talking. They say that the chieftain has a mysterious totem which gives him power and fearful visions. If we destroy this nightmare totem, the madness will end, so we do just that, while also taking down a few of the crazed Furbolgs, and of course their chieftain Graw. The chieftain's beads, found on the corpse of Graw, they're given to the elder, who will take the reins as the new chieftain and do his best to rebuild the clan. But who was it that gave them this totem? That's still a mystery, as we make our way into the Barrow's den to wake up Koda.
The dream was clouded with such darkness.
A mysterious force of great power is working against us. Someone intended for the druids to never awake, and the invaders on the Barrow Den are still there. We're asked to wake up more of the druids, while also clearing the Barrow of its enemies.
In Cenarius. Give me a moment to catch my breath, hero. The long years of vigil have taken their toll.
As the druids wake up, they mention that their dreams felt strange and that they sensed a dark presence within. Clearly, something is not quite right within the Emerald Dream, but right now we have to worry about the demons and the satyrs that are attacking. The origin of the satyrs goes way back to Dwarf the Ancients, where Xavius, advisor to Queen Val'sharah, he had made contact with Sargeras and the Burning Legion, and they worked on summoning the Legion into the world. Malfurion was eventually able to blow Xavius up, but Sargeras wasn't quite done with him yet. He took Xavius' spirit and he turned him into the first of the satyrs, set on the task of transforming more of his kind, while also bringing Malfurion to Sargeras, who had angered the Dark Lord by slowing down their plans. Xavius was able to transform more of his people. He even kidnapped Thrawn the Whisperwind, but Malfurion turned out to be more than he could handle, as the druid literally turned him into a tree. After the War of the Ancients, many of the satyrs were rounded up, and while Theon Moonclaw wanted to execute them all, instead they decided that they would be placed in a deep slumber beneath the roots of the world tree Shaladrasil.
I will open the way for you, but be careful. I sense powerful magic down below.
The den is cleared, and the druids of the Claw have awakened, but deep within the barrow is Morphael weaving a powerful spell which entangled them within their dreams.
We are prisoners of the droids no longer! Soon your world will become ours!
The spell used by the druids, which was supposed to keep the satyrs sleeping, has been broken. So we take down Morphael and we make our way to find the final Archdruid, Theon Moonclaw, Archdruid of the Veil. His Veil is also under attack, so we're asked to take down Xandris the Dishonored, one of the first to betray his brethren and accept the curse of Xavius.
Theon, you fool! You've already lost!
The satyr goes down easy enough, but he's just the first. Kagraxis, another satyr, must be brought down, and this one we'll have to do alone, since Theon senses an even darker presence in the area, one that requires his personal attention.
Soon, this wretched forest will be bathed in darkness!
A Vel Night Whisper was taken captive by Kagraxis and nearly sacrificed to his Dark Master. As we rescue her, she informs us that we quickly have to go and help Theon, since none other than Xavius himself, Xavius the Nightmare Lord, has returned, and he is personally orchestrating the corruption of this land.
He put up quite a fight, but your Archdruid belongs to me now.
The origin of the Emerald Nightmare, that one goes back around 4,500 years before the opening of the Dark Portal. When the Sundering happened, around 10,000 years ago, it weakened the prisons containing the Old Gods, and over the millennia that followed, great tendrils of corruption spilled from the Old Gods' damaged prisons, and they gradually seeped to the world's surface. Northrend, where the Old God Yogg-Saron was imprisoned, that one saw the most severe effects. A strange new mineral called Serenite, it spread through the crust of the land, and it sapped the life out of native flora and fauna. When the Druids discovered the Serenite, a small group of them decided to eradicate it. They reasoned that if the life-giving energies of the World Tree could heal the lands around Mount Hyjal, another great tree could do the same in Northrend. The group's leader, Fandrel Stackhelm, soon became obsessed with the idea. Some of the Druids advised him to first seek the guidance of the dragon aspects. Their knowledge and blessing was what allowed Nordrassil to flourish. Without them, planting another great tree could have unforeseen consequences. Stackhelm didn't listen. He believed that there was no time to wait. Serenite was spreading unchecked through Northrend and even in other parts of the world. He moved to act without consulting the aspects or his fellow druids, and they secretly cut 6 branches from Nordrassil. With the branches in hand, they traveled traveled the world to locations where Serenite blooms had sprung to life. One by one, the druids planted happy little trees in these regions, hoping to stop the corruption. The locations that they chose included Ashenvale, Crystal Song Forest, Verales, and 2 remote regions in the Eastern Kingdoms that would later be known as Duskwood and the Hinterlands. Their branches quickly took roots and they became new trees. Together, they acted like conduits, channeling the power of the Emerald Dream into the waking world, strengthening the nearby wildlife and scouring the Serenite deposits. Heartened by their success, the druids planted the last and greatest of the branches in the mountains of Northrend, over the largest grove of Serenite. This new world tree, named Andrasil or Crown of the Snow, it grew with astonishing speed and the benefits were almost immediate. The spread of Serenite ceased and wildlife flourished anew. Now Malfurion and the Cenarian Circle, when they found out about this, they were definitely pissed, but they also agreed that the plan seemed to work. For several decades, Andrasil towered over Northrend and all seemed well. Yet in time, the Tonka and the forest nymphs, they started to fight with each other. They were not known for their wars, and word of this reached the druids who investigated. It turned out that Andrasil's roots had reached so deep into the earth that they had touched Hugshot's subterranean prison. The old god had then infused the tree with its foul energies, and thus all living creatures in the area, they were slowly driven to madness. The Cenarian Circle realized that there was no way to spare the world tree, or even ease its suffering. They decided that the only recourse was to destroy Andrasil entirely. With heavy hearts, they felled the great tree. Forever after, the druids would refer to the fallen world tree as Vordrasil, also known as the Broken Crown. Now unknown to the druids, something dark had already taken roots in the Emerald Dream. Hugshot had used the trees planted by Fandrel as a doorway into the dream, a doorway through which the other old gods could grasp the ethereal domain as well. Small seeds of corruption were spread throughout Ysera's realm. In time, these seeds polluted the dreamways. This marked the beginning of what would become known as the Emerald's Nightmare.
None can stand against the Nightmare Lord!
We put Saiyan out of his misery, and with that, Malfurion summons us to return to the Grove of Cenarius, since time is running out. With Theon gone, we must aid them in reaching out to the Lady of Dreams, who in turn can bring understanding to what's going on. When the Titan Keepers decided to call upon the Titan's blessing to empower 5 Protodrakes and turn them into dragon aspects, Freya called upon Eonar to bless Ysera with nature's influence. She was charged with keeping watch over the flowering wilds of Azeroth from within the Emerald Dream. Bound to this ethereal realm, she descended into an endless trance and became known as the Dreamer. Now Cenarius, he is the son of Elune and the wild god Malorn, and we're uncertain what exactly Elune is, but somehow this being was able to have a child with a wild god, yet at the same time Ysera, she's considered his adoptive mother.
Lady Ysera, thank you for answering our call. We face a dire threat.
No need to explain, Malfurion. I have seen what is coming. The Emerald Dream is being overtaken by the Nightmare. The Legion and the Satyr Xavius are to blame. Shaladrasil, the World Tree, has fallen to the Nightmare's corruption and spreads its curse across our precious land. The Nightmare Lord must be vanquished, or Val'sharah is lost.
Her adoptive son is now slowly falling to the Nightmare, and we need the tears of Elune to save him, the same tears for which we originally came to this area. At the Temple of Elune, we are allowed to pick them up, since we bear Ysera's mark, and we're also told to be careful, since the roots of Shaladrasil, they've reached all the way here, and the Legion is attacking.
Foolish mortal! The tears of Elune are mine now. If Malfurion wants them back so badly, he can seek me out. I'll be waiting.
Xavius has already claimed the tears, so we must return to the grove with empty hands, where Cenarius finally gives in.
No! I have wasted too much time here. No more!
Like I mentioned, Malfurion has fought with Xavius before, Xavius was even able to kidnap his beloved Tyrande the Whisperwind, and for that, he was turned into a tree. After the War of the Ancients, the land of Kalimdor split apart, and Xavius' tree form actually felt the world's pain burning through him. He was swallowed by the waves, yet deep below, he was able to make contact with an ancient evil force. The old god N'Zoth allied himself with Xavius, and for millennia, the tree form was nurtured, roots digging deep, the small tree becoming bigger and bigger, until Xavius was strong enough to move out of the water and plant himself firmly within the world. That was his physical connection to the world of Azeroth, but he also gained access to the Emerald Dream, working on turning it into the Nightmare. The seeds of corruption planted there by Hugshot, they were now used by N'Zoth and Xavius, but the Nightmare was eventually vanquished by people like Malfurion, Tyrande, Fura, and a whole bunch of other people. Malfurion, at the end of the war against the Nightmare, he tried to cleanse the dream entirely, but he found that he could only push it back so far. Within an area of the dream called the Rift of Aln, he could push it no further, and he felt the ancient evil that he had sensed empowering Xavius before. He realized that there was nothing more to gain from trying to push it further, and instead sealed off the vicinity around the rift, knowing that the day was saved, but one day they would have to fight this war. It seems like this war is now upon us, since Xavius somehow has made a return, and the world tree Shaladrasil is corrupted. Even more interesting is that the Legion is now working together with Xavius, and by extension, working together with the Old Gods. We received a hint of this at the end of Warlords of Draenor, where Archimonde dropped an item called Remnant of Chaos, and upon returning it to Malfurion, he mentioned that he encountered his power once before, within the depths of the Emerald Dream, near an abyss known as the Rift of Aln. Now that's the history between Malfurion and Xavius. Now Rage has overtaken the Archdruid, he's making mistakes, so Ysera, she takes us with her in pursuit of Malfurion. Along the way, we take care of the corrupted druid, Elida for Stargrove, until we finally catch up with Stormrage and we walk right into a trap.
Ah, the Mother of Dreams has arrived at last.
At the end of the Cataclysm, the Aspects fulfilled their destiny by stopping Deathwing and the Hour of Twilight. This meant that they lost their immortality, they lost a significant portion of their power, and now we see that Ysera is unable to dodge the corrupted tears of Elune.
Malfurion! Where is my beloved?
Tyrande the Whisperwind, in search of her husband, shows up and asks for our aid. She saw him in a vision, enraged and then distressed, and now lost beyond her mind's reach.
We are wasting time!
At Shadowfen, we deal with the Harpies, while also collecting some heirlooms for the refugees. An ancient moonwell stands in the village. It has been able to resist the Nightmare's corruption, and we protect the priestess as she begs Elune for a vision.
Such malevolent laughter. Xavius, you cruel creature! I am coming for you! His location is still unclear, but he lives. We must go deeper into the Nightmare. Wherever he is, peril is already upon him. Feathers and blood. It is still wet. There may still be time. Elothyr, by Elune, not you too. Have you seen my husband?
The trees whisper his name, but their words are madness to my ears.
Tyrande will pray to Elune to help keep the Nightmare at bay, while we venture into Ashtaran and we bring back corrupted petals. With them, Elothyr might be able to find the Archdruid while his mind is still his own, while he also has a personal favor to ask. His age-old companion Varafos has fallen to the Nightmare's torment, and as with all who suffer this fate, there is no restoring him. Elothyr asks of us to bring him peace, and once completed, it's revealed that Malfurion, he's being held in Shalanir amidst the roots of Shaladrasil. The place is infested with nightmare creatures, so Tyrande has subdued one of Xavius' creatures, and with it, we bring death from above as we clear a path into the area.
Shalanir is just ahead. Be ready for whatever foulness awaits us.
Welcome to my dream home. Your beloved Malfurion awaits within. But what's this? Which Malfurion is real, and which is part of the nightmare?
I have no time for games. Where are you, Malfurion? Answer me!
My love, I am
cannot
here.
tell where his voice is coming from.
Come to me.
Quickly, search the buildings to the east. I will scour the west for signs of him.
How might nature serve?
Guess again, mortal.
Where are you, Tyrande? I need you.
Hold on, my love. I am near.
How may I aid you?
When will this nightmare end?
Mine are not the only.
Hurry! I cannot fight much longer.
Elune, curse you, Xavius! You will pay for this charade. I swear it.
You cannot keep me from her! Tyrande!
Yes, I hear you. I am close now. To me, champion. Our chase is done.
Tyrande Whisperwind. I have longed for this encounter for many years. Your adoring husband will be joining me in the nightmare. His was a special invitation. And our dear Ysera. Would you believe she's had a change of heart? She will aid me in my conquest of Val'sharah, starting with your precious temple of Elune. Such a dilemma, High Priestess. Kneel beside your beloved as he draws his final breath? Or watch the temple of your goddess burn?
Tyrande's heart breaks for Malfurion, but she cannot follow where he goes. She has sworn herself to Elune, her goddess, to defend her temples and lands with all that she is. She cannot stand by while her order is in danger, so she makes her choice and she rides out to defend the temple. Along the way, Tyrande graces us with a speech about how amazing her relationship is, how she enjoyed watching Malfurion sleep for centuries at a time, while she had to carry the burden of ruling their people.
Have you ever loved as I have? Now Xavius has me by the throat. I must abandon my beloved and subdue the most beautiful creature I have ever known. Coda, keep her distracted. Lyanus, mend our wounds. Champion, with me. Are you truly lost, Ysera? After all we have built, all we have done, by the light of Elune, we will end this madness! I will end your torment, dreamer. And I promise, we will avenge you.
Forgive me. It felt so real.
Xavius forced our hand, and we ended Ysera's suffering. Elune herself reached down to carry her up amongst the stars, leaving behind the cleansed tears of Elune. We have collected what we came for, but it came at a terrible price.
Today we celebrate a great triumph, one paid for with the blood of those most dear to us. Thanks to your courage, the ancient lands of Val'sharah can at long last begin to heal. Now the tears of Elune are added to our arsenal. May they bring us victory against the Legion.
Malfurion is still in the hands of the image of Xavius, and the corruption rooted deep within the World Tree Shaladrasil, it has to be expelled. But I'll save that story for another time. For now, this is where we end the story of Val'sharah, for getting our hands on the Pillar of Creation, and one step closer to sealing the gateway at the Tomb of Sargeras. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, guys, see ya!
I have no time for games.